where are we going from here in this podcast and this channel? What's changing? What's staying the same? What can you expect from me, etc. So first, I want to share what worked well before I go into what didn't and what's going to change. What worked really well in 2025 with a year of daily content was seeing real substantial growth in all of my channels. I think the daily content really did prove to the algorithm that I'm here and I'm a voice to be heard, and therefore it didn't suppress my content as much as it has in the past by sporadically posting. So I sat down and I actually did the math, and I would love to celebrate with you some of the milestones that we reached across all of the platforms that I share on. I gained over 600 new subscribers and followers on various platforms. I gained 85,000 views on YouTube alone, 128,000 new views on TikTok, which are my primary two platforms. Also, I think I may have forgotten to actually say on any of my episodes that the Contentment Creator Podcast actually ranked in the top 200 entrepreneurship podcasts in the US, which is wild. I was ranked number 195 out of all of the thousands and thousands of entrepreneurship podcasts in the world. It's a total honor and totally due to you, my beautiful audience. So thank you for not only supporting me, but coming back again and again to be inspired, to gain value, to take into your businesses and lives, and for starting to form a real sense of community for me as a creator. This is a new bag for me, and I'm not used to speaking to a camera and creating a community in this way. I really enjoyed the process of sharing something daily on all of these platforms and seeing the compound effect of that in terms of people coming back and engaging and messaging me their takeaways from various episodes. And I will say, in addition to what worked about having daily content, is that I got a lot of practice at clarifying my messaging, my thought leadership, and just the core pillars of my beliefs that I want to share in my content. So by speaking from my professional background, as well as my personal perspective as a growth-minded life coach, a mother, a wife, and a business owner in my pursuit of contentment and creative fulfillment and capacity to have a really big, bold life, I think I really got clear on my brand and my beliefs, which I will continue leaning into all of that this year. What I think didn't work, and I'm going to be changing this year, is my creative process. What I did was batch record unique episodes that were written word for word for me to share with you all. And what worked about that at the time was I was able to just really divide my days into different parts of the process. So one day was ideation, the next day was scripting, the next day was filming, and then the next day was editing. And then I would send it off to my content manager, and they would manage kind of the distribution of it all across my channels. So obviously that's a really organized way to go at it, but what it ended up creating was a lot of burnout for me as a creator. I just really stopped being in love with the ideas I was sharing about and the content itself, and it became more about just being consistent. So by the end of my 175 episode batch for my content manager to have to, play with during my maternity leave, you may have been able to tell that really I was just showing up out of the sake of consistency, which for me as a person felt really out of integrity to create for consistency's sake. That goes totally against my beliefs and my desires. 175 was actually less than I thought I would create because I wanted to reach, I think, 250 episodes so that I wouldn't have to repurpose very much during my maternity leave. But by 175, I was just totally out of ideas and inspiration to keep going. And so once I realized that that was my experience, I stopped. This year, instead of filming a bunch of micro content that are episodes for this podcast and for my YouTube channel, and then taking those and breaking them down into smaller pieces for shorts across the platforms, I'm going to record a long episode that goes out at the beginning of the week. I'm thinking Mondays, where I get to deep dive on one subject from the lens of a business owner, a wife, a mother, and a life coach. For example, I can take a subject like boundary setting and break it down into chapters where we talk about implementing boundaries in your business, how to create boundaries in your relationships, how to implement boundaries in parenthood, and how to really relate to boundaries in a new way on a personal level for your personal growth. So that way, I'm really taking about 50 topics and fleshing them out fully from a bunch of different lenses. Then you'll have the whole episode so you can consume it as one cohesive conversation if you like. Or the following episodes throughout the week are going to break each perspective down into a new chapter. So for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday videos, they will be short episodes like you're used to, but they will take the topic from one perspective. So you'll just get a video about boundaries in parenthood or boundaries in relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll still be hearing from me every single day. You'll still be getting a lot of quality content that you can listen to and consume easily, but you're going to get a little more variety, hopefully, by having a long episode that you can listen to like a traditional podcast, or you can come back and consume the shorter ones that I've gotten a lot of feedback that people really like having these kind of short bite-sized nuggets of wisdom they can take with them. And then you'll still obviously be getting the short form videos throughout all of the platforms. But the intention behind shortening what my creative process looks like, which is just recording one continuous episode instead of filming and editing 5 unique videos, the intention to free up that time is to provide more creative freedom to create some native content for different platforms. So more creative short videos on TikTok and YouTube. I'd love to have like a weekly YouTube video that is much more personal storytelling and creative editing than just what you get here on the podcast. And on TikTok and Instagram and the other platforms, I'm really interested in some native content that uses music and uses B-roll from my life and just plays with some of the creative opportunities you have to make shorts. So I think this plan will be really effective in continuing to nurture the algorithm and to be really consistent in terms of people receiving something from me. But it gives me a lot more creative freedom and the opportunity to really deep dive on a conversation and not just touch it really lightly in these short little episodes. If you made it all the way here to the end of this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are probably the reason why the podcast ranked nationally and why these views continue to increase day by day. I'm so grateful to you, my viewers, and my community here. And I would love to encourage you to go into the description of this episode and find the form that I've created for you to give me ideas about what would resonate and really impact you the most for me to deep dive on throughout this year. Obviously, I have about 50 more topics to pursue over the course of this year that we can really sink our teeth into and get a lot of clarity about. So I would love to hear from you. If you have a few ideas, please submit your request at that link in the description. And at that, thank you so much for being here with me today. Stay tuned for this new era of the Contentment Creator Podcast. And as always, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a day and join me in my mission to help a world full of content creators become a world of contentment creators. Bye, y'all. Stay tuned for this new era of the Contentment Creator Podcast. And as always, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a day and join me in my mission to help a world full of content creators become a world of contentment creators. Bye, y'all.